Hello everyone, welcome back to Dragon Age Origins. So this part I'm going to be reading the codex. If you guys don't want to watch this, you can just go ahead and skip it. That's totally fine. It be like that sometimes. But because I'm really into Dragon Age, I really want to understand the lore more. So I'm just going to read some of the codexes that I forgot. And there's probably so much because I haven't read the codex in a while. So I'll try to do this more frequently. I just forget that the codex is a thing and I have to read stuff. I don't have to, but I want to. So here we go. Let's continue on with creatures. So I don't think we read Abomination. So Abomination. We arrived in the dead of night. We had been tracking the Maleficar for days and finally had him cornered, or so we thought. As we approached a home on the edge of town, exploded, sending splinters of wood and fist-sized chunks of rock into our ranks. We had but moments to regroup before fire rained from the sky. The sound of destruction wrapped in a hideous laughter from the center of the village. There, perched atop the spire of the village chantry, stood the mage, but he was human no longer. We shouted prayers to the Maker and deflected what magic we could. But as we fought, the creature fought harder. I saw my comrades fall. We burned by the flaming sky or crushed by debris. The monstrous creature, looking as if a demon were wearing a man like a twisted suit of skin, spotted me and grinned. We had forced it to this, I realized. The mage had this pact given to him over the demon to survive our assault. Transcribed from a tale told by a former Templar in Cumberland, 884 Blessed. It is known that mages are able to walk the Fade while completely aware of their surroundings. Unlike most others who may only enter the realm as dreamers and leave it scarcely aware of their experience, demons are drawn to mages, though whether it's because of their awareness or simply by virtue of their magical power in our world is unknown. Wow, I didn't know that actually. So is the fate different for other? Because you have to be a mage in Origins. You can be anything you want. So I wonder if the fate is different. Huh, interesting. So, regardless of reason, a demon always attempts to possess a mage when it encounters one, by force or by making some kind of deal, depending on strength of the mage. Should the demon get the upper hand, the result is unholy union known as an abomination. Abominations have been responsible for some of the worst cataclysms in history, and the notion that some mage in a remote tower could turn into such a creature, unbeknownst to any, was the driving force behind the creation of the Circle of Magi. Us! Thankfully, abominations are rare. The Circle has methods for weeding out those who are too at risk for demonic possession, and scant few mages would give up their free will to submit to such a bond with a demon. But once an abomination is created, it will do its best to create more. Considering that entire squads of Templars have been known to fall at the hands of a single abomination, it is not surprising that the Chantry takes the business of the Circle of Magi very serious indeed. So, we're almost done with the whole Creatures Codex. Only got a couple more things. That scares me, but also excites me. So, Arcane Horror. Upon ascending to the second floor of the tower, we were greeted by a gruesome sight. A ragged collection of bones, wearing robes of one of the senior enchanters. I had known her for years, watched her raise countless apprentices, and now she was a mere puppet for some demon. Transcribed from a tale told by a Templar in Antiva City, 713 Storm. So many stories by Templars. Should we, believe them? Anyways, demons, of course, have no form in our world. When they enter, either where the veil is particularly thin, or through blood magic summoning, they must take possession of a body. When a pride demon takes control of the corpse of a mage, an arcane horror is born. Although they appear to be a little more than bones, these are fierce creatures possessing not only the spellcasting abilities of a living mage, but also the capacity to heal and even command other animated corpses. Interesting. A corpse. To anyone who doubts the wickedness of blood magic, I say, with your own hands strike down the corpses of your own brothers who have fallen in battle to a Maleficar, then we may discuss morality. Knight Commander Benedictus, in a letter to the Divine, 514, exalted. The walking dead are not as the superstitious are. The walking dead are not as the superstitious are. As the superstitious are wont to believe. What? The walking dead are not as the superstitious are wont to believe. That's not. What? Anyways, the living. I'm sorry, that threw me off. The living come back for revenge. They are, rather, corpses possessed by demons. The shambling corpse, controlled by a demon of sloth, causes its enemies to become weak and fatigued. Corpses possessed by rage demons go berserk and simply wade into their opponents mindlessly. Devouring corpses are held by hunger demons and feed upon the living. The more powerful demons rarely um, deign to possess a dead host. I'm sorry, my English is so bad. Desire demon. Ooh, this is a lot. Desire demon. In all my studies, I must say that the most intriguing was my interview with the desire demon. That the creature was willing to speak with me was a sign that this was no mere monster, mindlessly driven by its nature, but rather a rational being as interested in me as I was in it. It took a form that I would call female, though it had no doubt that it could appear otherwise. I wonder if it appeared as it did because I wanted to, or because I expected it to. She, and indeed, I could only think of her as such now, smiled warmly at me and laughed a musical sound that seemed to thrill my old heart. So frightened I was of this creature's legendary abilities to twist the hearts of men, and so relieved when I was looked across the table into her dark eyes. This was a fearsome creature of the fade, but as I spoke with her, I slowly came to realize that this demon was merely as misunderstood as we mages are ourselves. From the journal of a former senior enchanter, Melias, once of the circle of Rivian, declared apostate and 920 dragon. Of all the threats from beyond the veil, few are more insidious and deceptively deadly than the desire demon. In folklore, such demons are characterized as peddlers of lust, luring their prey into a sexual encounter only to be slain at the culmination. While a desire demon can indeed deal in pleasure, in truth they deal with any matter of desire that humans can possess, wealth, power, and beauty, to name a few. Far more intelligent than the bestial hunger and rage demons, and more ambition than the demons of sloth. These dark spirits are among the most skilled at tempting mages into possession. Many who serve the whims of a desire demon never realize it. They are manipulated by illusions and deceit, if not outright mind control, although these demons are reluctant to resort to such crude measures. Instead, they seem to take great pleasure in corruption. The greater the deceit, the greater their victory. Only demons of pride prove more fearsome opponents when roused. Their abilities to affect the mind allow them to assume disguises and even alter the environment to their purpose, not to mention the great strength and speed they possess if they should have to resort to more physical means. Most often a desire demon will attempt to bargain its way to freedom. If overpowered, many stories exist that deceit mages defeating desire demons to the point where a wish can be wrestled from them. It should be noted that in such stories the demons almost always get the upper hand, even when the mage thinks that his wish has been granted. Ah, that's interesting. I do think the first passage is funny where he's like, she was exactly what I wanted her to be. Like, yeah, it's a desire demon, duh. Anyways. Dragonlings. Newly hatched dragons are roughly the size of a deer, and voraciously hungry. They live for a short time in their mother's lair before venturing out on their own. The slender, wingless creatures are born into vast numbers, as only a few ever make it to the adulthood. Aw, that's sad. Ghoul. What the blight does not destroy, it corrupts. Any creature infected with the darkspawn taint that does not have the good fortune to die outright becomes a ghoul, a twisted shadow of itself. The name originally comes from men, whether human, dwarven, or elven, who became tainted usually while being held as a captive food source by the darkspawn. They would turn cannibal, preying on other captive slaves for the will of the archdemon, driven mad by pain. During a blight, the corruption of the darkspawn spreads through the wider areas of Theodos and infects the animals found there. This produces grotesque enraged beasts called Buraskarn, as well as blight wolves. Fortunately, ghouls rarely survive their corruption for long. Golem. Once a crucial part of Altzamar's defense, golems have all but vanished, as the secret to their manufacture was lost over 1,000 years ago. What few golems remain are guarded closely by the shepherd brought out when the battle with the Darkspawn grows desperate enough to risk their loss. No one now would sell a golem for any price, but in ancient times, dwarves sold many golems to the Magister Lords of Tevinter. They are devastating weapons in war, living siege engines capable of hurling boulders like a catapult or plowing through enemy lines like an earthquake. What? Pride Demon. Let me explain what is to face a Pride Demon, my friend. You may scoff and say that our talent exists only to face mages, but you will encounter demons often. They will be summoned by a maleficar and bound to do his bidding, and while at times they will be forced into the possession of a host, they will also face you in their true form. A powerful opponent indeed. Do not underestimate it. Pride is powerful and intelligent. It's powerful and intelligent. When we have encountered one in its true form, its most common attack are bolts of fire and ice. Fire they will use to burn an opponent, and the magical flame will combust anything you wear regardless of make. Ice they will use to freeze an opponent in place. Be cautious, for they enjoy this against warriors in particular. Yikes! It's a good thing I hate that class. Ha ha ha! Mage for the win, everyone! More than one group of Templars has made the mistake of attempting to overwhelm a Pride Demon, and suffered the consequences, believe me. And if you think that having the aid of the other mages will assist you, you are wrong. Pride Demons can render themselves immune to magic for short times, and are adept at dispelling magic that it is cast upon you, as much as we Templars are able to disrupt spells. Think on that for a moment, my friends. Be wary of how prideful you become, lest you find too much in common with such a fiend. Transcript of a lecture given by Veheren, Templar Commander of Tantervale, 686 Steel. Huh. A lot of these are by Templars. Do y'all know why that's for? I don't, are the Templars, what is it called, superior to the mages or something? What's up with the Templars? I'm probably just gonna look it up on the wiki by this time. Rat. Oh my god, me! They made a codex just for me. Rat. What, are you mad? Even the most giant of rats isn't going to present that much of a problem to anyone larger than a cat. Even the stories in the archives that tell the blight-touched rats still only attribute them with the ability to spread the plague. The rats themselves got no larger than perhaps 3 feet in length, covered in sharp boning spikes and boils. Disturbing, certainly, but dangerous. This is no fantasy conjured by madmen, young men. You have much more important creatures to concern yourself with. Transcript of a lecture given by Nelia, Senior Enchanter of Hallsberg, 844. Blessed. No, she was later eaten by a blight rat in 846. Wow, 2 years later. Nalia? Revenant? What? Okay, that's 2 things. Revenant. An entire unit of men, all slain by one creature. I didn't believe it at first for your perfection, but it appears that this is so. We have a survivor, and while at first I thought his rantings pure exaggeration, it appears to be no simple skeleton. The descriptions of the creature's ability were eerily similar to those our brothers at Marinus Pell encountered almost a century ago. Men pulled through the air to skewer themselves on the creature's blade, and attacks so quickly that no one was able to assault multiple opponents at once. No, your perfection, what we have here is indeed a revenant, and nothing less. From a letter to Divine Amara III, 517 Exalted. A revenant is a corpse possessed by a demon of pride of desire, making it amongst the most powerful possessed opponents that one can face. Many possess spells, but most are armed and armored and prefer the use of their marital talents. They are weak against physical attacks, but regenerate quickly and commonly use telekinesis to pull opponents into melee range should they try to flee. Revenants also have the ability to strike multiple opponents surrounding them. Stay at range if possible and strike quickly. That is the only way to take such a creature down. Wow. So are these right here the ones that we were? Shade. It has often been suggested that the only way for a demon to affect the world of the living is by possessing a living or once living body, but this is not always true indeed. A shade is one such creature, a demon in its true form, that has adapted to affect the world around it. My hypothesis is this. We already know that many demons have become confused when they pass through the veil into our world. They are unable to tell the living from the dead. The very static nature of our universe being confused to a creature that is accustomed to a physicality defined entirely by emotion and memory, most demons seek to immediately seize upon anything they perceive as life, jealousy, attempting to possess it. But what of those that do not? What of those that encounter no life or fail to possess a body? What of those that are more cautiously by their nature? These demons watch, they lurk, they envy. In time, such a demon will learn to drain energy from the psyche of those it encounters, just as it did in the Fade. Once it has drained enough, it has the power to manifest, and will forever be known as a shade. Such a creature spurns possession. It instead floats as a shadow across its piece of land, preying upon the psyche of anyone who crosses its path. Perhaps it believes itself still in the Fade. There is evidence to believe that this is so. A shade will weaken the living by its very proximity. If it focuses, it can drain a single target very quickly. Some have even been known to assault the minds of a living victim, causing confusion or horror, and making the target ripe for the kill. The tragedy of shade is perhaps that once it has drained a target whole, its appetite is only heightened rather than slaked. From the journal of a former senior enchanter, Malleus, once of the Circle Rivian, declared apostate in 920 Dragon Age. So we have one more. Skeleton. Why is it so long? Skeleton. The demons of the Fade are jealous of the living beings they sense from across the veil. They constantly push against the boundaries of the Fade, and when they finally cross over, they attempt to possess the first living creatures they see. They are unable, however, to distinguish that which was once living from that which still is. In fact, a corpse provides an even more tempting target to a weaker demon, and it has no will with which to resist the possession. The demon cannot rationalize why this is so. It only sees a target and grasps at the opportunity. A skeleton is exactly that, a corpse animated by a possessing demon. Upon finding itself trapped within a body that cannot sustain it, the demon is driven insane. It seeks to destroy any life that it encounters, attacking without thought of its own welfare. The exact name given to skeletons of this type vary, according to the nature of the demon that possesses it. A fanged skeleton is a skeleton possessed by a hunger demon. These skeletons devour whatever life they encounter, and often possess the ability to drain life energy and mana from their victims. A shambling skeleton is a slower-moving skeleton possessed by a sloth demon, able to bring entropic powers against its opponents, slowing them, and even putting them to sleep. More powerful demons have been known to command skeletons, but at that level they are known by other names. Revenants and arcane horrors, to name two. Alright, we're done with creatures for a little bit. So, items. I guess we already read 36? So we have to read the Litany of Adralla. Adralla of Virentium dedicated her life to the study of blood magic. The academic study, rather than the practice, a deeply pious mage, she was renowned in her day for having found a counter to every form of mind control, in a defense against a dreamwalker, and even counter spells to demonic summons. Her efforts were unappreciated in her native Tevinter, however. After 3 different magisters attempted to have her killed, she fled the country, choosing to take refuge in the land of blessed Andraste's birth. She spent the remainder of her days with the Circle in Ferelden. The Litany of Adralla disrupts the casting of mind control spells. Use the litany whenever a creature tries to dominate another with magic, and it will interrupt the casting. Once the spell is in effect and a character is under a blood mage's power, it is too late. Mage and religion. Apostates. Oh man, are you kidding me? It is not uncommon for the neophyte to mistake apostates and maleficarum as one of the same. Indeed, the chantry has gone to great lengths over the centuries to establish that this is so. The truth, however, is that while an apostate is often a maleficar, he needs not be so. A maleficar is a mage who employs forbidden knowledge, such as blood magic and the summoning of demons, whereas an apostate is merely any mage who does not fall under the auspices of the Circle of Magi, and therefore the Chantry. They are hunted by the Templars, and quite often they will turn to forbidden knowledge in order to survive. But it would be a lie to say that all apostates begin that way. Historically, apostates become such in one of the two ways. They are either mages who have escaped from the circle, or mages who were never part of it to begin with. The latter category includes what we tend to refer as the hedge mages, those with magical abilities out in the hinterlands who follow a different magical tradition than our own. Some of these hedge mages are not even aware of their nature. Undeveloped, their abilities can express themselves in a variety of ways, which the hedge mage might attribute to faith or will, or to another being entirely, depending on his nature. Some of these traditions are passed down from generation to generation, as with the so-called witches of the Chassin, wilders of the shamans of the Avar barbarians. No matter how a mage has become an apostate, the Chantry treats them alike. Templars begin with a systematic hunt to bring the apostate to justice. In almost all cases, justice is execution. If there is some overriding reason the mage should live, the right of tranquility is employed instead. Whether we of the Circle of Magi believe this system fair is irrelevant. It is what it is. From Patterns Within Form by Halden, First Enchanter, Starkhaven, 880 Blessed. Okay, we got two more, I think. Maleficarum. It has been asked, what are Maleficarum? How shall we know them? I have been as troubled by this question as you. You have come to me for the wisdom of the Maker, but none have seen the Maker's heart saved beloved Andraste. And so I have done all mortals must, and look to the words of his prophet for answers. And there I found respite from a troubled mind. For she has said to us, magic exists to serve man, and never to rule over him. Wait, I've heard this before. Where did I hear that? I think I was on Reddit, and I saw someone quote that or something. I don't know. Therefore, I say to you, they who work magic, which dominates the minds and the hearts of others, they have transgressed the Maker's law. Also, Our Lady said to us, those who bring harm without provocation to the least his children are hated and accursed by the Maker. And so it is made clear to me, as it should be to us all, that magic which fuels itself by harming others by the letting of the blood is hated by the Maker. Those mages who honor the Maker and keep his laws we welcome as our brothers and sisters. Those who reject the laws of the Maker and the words of his prophet are apostate. They shall be cast out and given no place among us. From the Sermons of Justina the First. Here we go. This will be the last one for the codex part. I'm so tired of reading. So, blood magic, the forbidden school. Foul and corrupt are you, who have taken my gift, and turned it against my children. Transfigurations, 1810. The ancient inventors did not originally consider blood magic a school of its own. Rather, they saw it as a means to achieve greater power in any school of magic. The name, of course, refers to the fact that magic of this type uses life, specifically in the form of blood, instead of mana. It was common practice at one time for a magistrate to keep a number of slaves on hand so that should he undertake the working of a spell that was physically beyond his abilities, he could use the blood of his slaves to bolster the casting. Over time, however, the Imperium discovered types of spells that could only be worked by blood. Although Lyrian will allow a mage to send his conscious mind into the Fade, blood will allow him to find the sleeping minds of others, view their dreams, and even influence or dominate their thoughts. Just as treacherous blood magic allows the veil to be opened completely so that demons may physically pass through it into our world. The rise of the Chant of Light and the subsequent fall of the Old Imperium has led to blood magic being all but stamped out as it should be, for it possesses nearly a great danger to those who would practice it as to the world at large. From the Four Schools, a treatise by First Enchanter Josephus. Okay. Wait, there's still more? Which one did I miss? Oh shit, there is one more. So the veil. Let's read the veil really quick. Oops. The veil. I detest this notion that the veil is some manner of invisible curtain that separates the world of the living of the world of the spirits. Whether it be called the Fade or beyond is a matter of radical politics I refuse to indulge in at the moment. There is no this side and that side when it comes to the veil. One cannot think of it as a physical thing or a barrier, or even shimmering wall of holy light. Thank you very much to that image, your perfection. Think of the veil instead as it opens one eye. Before you opened them, you saw your world as you see it now, static, solid, unchanging. Now that they are open, you see our world as spirits see it, chaotic, ever-changing realm, where the imagined and the remembered have as much substance as that which a real, more in fact, a spirit sees everything undefined by will and memory. And this is why they are so very lost when they cross the veil. In our world, imagination has no substance. Objects exist independently of how we remember them or what emotions we associate with them. Mages alone possess the power to change the world with their minds, and perhaps this forms the nature of a demon's attraction to them. Who can say? Regardless, the act of passing through the veil is much more about changing one's perceptions than a physical transition. The veil is an idea. It is the act of transition itself. And it is only the fact that both living beings and spirits find the transition difficult that gives the veil away any credence as a physical barrier at all. From a dissertation on the Fade as a physical manifestation by Marino, senior enchanter of the Minathras Circle of Magi, 655 Steel. Okay, I've always wanted to understand the veil more because of spoiler. So yeah. That's it. I'm like so out of breath. I keep talking. I'm tired. I didn't know this much talking made me tired. Anyways, thank you guys for watching, and I'll hopefully see you in the next part. We're gonna work on the quest, I promise. Bye. Have a great day.